What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Kory Willis. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Hope you guys had a great weekend and hope you guys are starting off your week in style out there. So overall, guys, I hope you're doing well on a Monday out there. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening to the show. As always, you know where to find us. We're on many different streaming platforms out there, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms out there. So if you like what you hear from the show, from Chris and I, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It's definitely important for Chris and I. It helps us know how we're doing on the show and how we can improve the show for the future for you all. So as always, we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. As always, y'all know who I'm with. I am with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, Kory. Just enjoying this summertime sunshine. Counting down the days. We're getting just that much closer. We almost there. So we really can talk some good football talk now, man. It's right around the corner. Before you know it, brother, we gonna be in August. It's gonna be time for some depth chart decisions to be made by coaches. It's gonna be some real football talk going on here soon.
Absolutely, man. Like, look, we've talked about this all off season, Chris. We talked about, like, look, once we're in the off season and we got spring workouts and just summer overall, it won't be that long until we're doing this all over again. And here comes July, and all we're seeing and talking about is media days. Of course, we're gonna delve a little bit into Big 12 media days, and just the overall excitement of college football is starting to ramp up again. Like, you got the college football 26 video game out. People are excited. All kinds of news coming from your favorite teams out there, folks. It's here. We're getting right back in the thick of things, Chris. And like we said, we knew it wouldn't take that long. Of course, just a little bit of time to just kind of sit and relax. But here we are again.
Oh yeah, and like you said, with the video game, everybody's getting their first chance to quote unquote scout their favorite team. You get getting an idea of who should be some of the ballers this year and see who they should be looking out for too. So in the opposition, when you play it online and you going up against some other teams. So
that's right.
That's definitely been fun. So it's a good time, man. It's nice, especially like you said we're in July. It takes me back to being a kid again when the game would drop, and you would get you about 6 seasons into your dynasty before before a game started. The real game started, and you are ready to play with everybody on the team, and then saw the freshman class graduate. you knew the team up and down before the season even started, so it's good to be back in those times.
Exactly. All of that goes hand in hand in bringing that excitement back with the game of college football, and we couldn't be more proud to talk about it each week that we're here with you all, folks. So it's definitely great to get this feeling again. In July, where we're getting back in the thick of things for sure.
Yeah, we ain't lost all the recipes.
No.
we still got some of the recipes.
Oh yeah. No, we got the cookbook. You got to keep the cookbook. You gotta keep those recipes tight. So yeah,
Michael Irvin would be proud right now.
Absolutely, yes he would. Yes he would. So yeah, Chris. It's been. I know we haven't recorded in about a good week or so. So we are back again to talk a lot about like media days, and we have a couple of like recruiting news, and then to finish up in terms of the Power Four conferences, some of our sleeper teams. Those are some of the topics that we're going to talk about on today's show. Chris, we can go ahead and kick off the show by discussing Big 12 Media Days, which were this past week. We also got a chance to, hear some comments, of course, from a good friend of the show, Deion Sanders, head coach of Colorado Buffaloes. Him talking about, a potential salary cap that he has talked about before. This isn't really new, coming out of his mouth. Yeah, Chris, let's go ahead and start off with Big 12 Media Days. This is a conference, Chris, me and you talk about ad nauseum, and everyone talks about it.
We really do love the Big 12.
We really love it, and it's because it's unpredictable. And everyone else pretty much agrees out there. All of the other national pundits always talk about the Big 12 as being an unpredictable league because you don't really know who is the top team of that league until they play. As with every other team, but there's a lot of parity that goes on in the Big 12 conference. A lot more than you see in other leagues out there. And yeah, I mean, we got to hear Lance Leipold, talk about Kansas, of course. Deion, definitely spoke about his team as well. And definitely others out there. But I guess, Chris, I'll go ahead and give you the floor. What were your thoughts about Big 12 Media Days? Who are some of the teams out there? I know we talked about it in terms of our sleeper teams on the last episode. What are you feeling like now after Big 12 Media Days is said and done?
Yeah, it's not just something that we understand when it comes to the parity in the league, but clearly when you listen to the coaches talk, they understand it too, man. Like Deion Sanders, he said himself that he believes the winner of the league will have a couple losses to their name in the conference. It's that kind of a league where you're going to lick your wounds, man. You're going to take some L's, and even the top dogs, I think, won't come out unscathed in this conference. So it's very interesting and cool to see that the coaches themselves, the people in the league, they know they're not trying to front. They understand that it's going to be a battle. It's tough trying to be the winner of the Big 12. And so I'm excited. We got to see Rich Rod. He's back as the man at West Virginia. And see him back on the platform and rocking his, the West Virginia colors, representing for the state, for university, for the Mountaineers. And I'm interested to see what kind of impact he has, Kory. We grew up as kids seeing the Rich Rod impact and what he was able to do, bringing athletes like Pat White, Steve Slayton to Morgantown. He's got Pat White on the staff as a quarterbacks coach. So it's an exciting time for West Virginia fans. And this is the conference in the league where you can go from worst to first just like that. So a lot of people might not be checking for West Virginia, but if everything clicks, who's to say they can't be in the mix? So I mean, that's something that I was very excited about, was just hearing Rich Rod representing West Virginia again, and just seeing what could be the possibilities for this team. It's going to be a lot of work, but to say it's impossible for them to make the turnaround immediately, I don't think it is.
No, you're absolutely right, Chris. Look, in a world of people making their returns, like, look, we got the Clips back. The Clips is back. I know. Hey, the Clips is back, giving us bangers. No Malice. No, we got D Malice back,
man.
and we got Pusha T.
And Malice he cooked Pusha T the whole album. Respectfully, Malice was on this spitting, Kory.
Hey, all I'm saying is, look, we in a world where we got like one of the greatest duos in hip hop history back, and then you bring back Rich Rodriguez back into the equation and West Virginia. Oh man, we cooking, Chris. We cooking. It's 2007 all over again. I can feel it.
Oh,
I can feel it. And I'll give you this one, Chris, because I didn't even realize he said it. Rich Rodriguez was pretty much in his interview with the media, and he pretty much came out and said, like, look, if we win a big game this year, he said, and I quote, my ass is burning the couch. He's literally telling you right now, like, you can't get me out of here. You can't get me out of here. There is no hot seat. What are the hot seats? I created a hot seat on my own. And it wasn't because of my bad coaching either. It's because I brought this team back from the dead. Because let's be honest, it felt like it's been pretty much a dead end program. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
It had its rough years.
For sure. So, hey, with Rich Rod back in at the helm, West Virginia might be back in business, and it's only a matter of time, I think, too, before they are. You know, there's some reunions that don't work out. I think this one will, because it felt like even when he did leave Kory for Michigan, it didn't seem like then it was the right move for him. We understand the step up, but it just didn't seem right. It felt like Mullen leaving Mississippi State. It didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how things go this time around. College football has evolved a lot, and just being real, man, a lot of people running the same kind of concepts that Rich Rod introduced. So we'll see how he reinvents himself.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own staple of what he does on offense, but can he reinvent himself a little bit to get that leg up and try to create that separation? Because it's going to be needed when you are trying to build something from the ground up, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right, Chris. So yeah, this is I'm sure that this is like a new lease on life for his career again. I mean, it's definitely, a place that he recognizes, of course. Mm-hmm. But this is going to be a new opportunity for him to make amends with a program that he had left abruptly, and definitely revive it and put it back into a stature that he had helped build at one point in time. So he has a lot of work to do, but knowing that he's in an environment that he recognizes, I'm excited. I know a lot of fans at West Virginia are excited to see what happens.
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. So we got that, and it's gonna be a fun year in the Big 12. It really is. I mean, you got some teams on the hot seat, some coaches on the hot seat too. Mm-hmm. We'll see how things go in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. There's some noise going on in Cincy. Yeah. We'll see how Houston looks too. That's a very interesting team. Things can go very good. Could be a very good season. Yeah. It can go bad. They're one of those in between teams that you really can't get a read on. Essentially, you're not so sure how things will go. But I wouldn't be surprised if Houston is relevant this season. I mean, that's the Big 12 for you, Kory. So it's going to be fun. We'll see who will end up being the guy at Colorado too, with the QB battle.
Right.
Oh, it was saying, we got the two QBs. We got Julian Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
And Salter. Yeah. So I think Salter will ultimately win the battle
I think so
personally,
too.
just because of his experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hey, if Julian Lewis is called, if it comes out as the guy, Kory, I think that says a lot. I think people need to buckle up because if Lewis is the one that becomes the guy, that means he is out here shining. He is tearing it up
Yeah.
at practice.
Absolutely, absolutely, and who knows? Who knows? We'll definitely have to kind of tap back in to see what's going on in Colorado. Last thing we had heard that it was pretty much a close battle between those two in terms of just the fan base thinking about who do you choose between the two. So yeah, we'll definitely see what happens, but I think that both of those guys definitely have a lot of talent. Salter has more of the experience, but in terms of just sheer talent, I don't think Dion is you know sparse for quarterback talent right now. I think he has two good
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
yeah. So I'm ready, man. Man, we say it every episode. Let's get to these games, man. It's going to be lit in the Big 12. I know that for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, man, we definitely can't wait. It's just an unpredictable league. Every single year, we don't know who's going to be what by the end of it.
Hmm.
So, and that's what makes it one of the greatest leagues in our sport. And yeah, that we're definitely going to be tapping into the Big 12 week in and week out just to see who has that it factor.
Yeah, yep.
So
I'm
yeah,
with you.
so
I'm
yeah.
with you.
But yeah, Chris, yeah, it was a great opportunity for just the media and just fans in general, for the fans to see a lot of these coaches and just kind of hear what's going on as we get closer to the season. Real quick, we did hear, of course, from Deion Sanders. Deion's talking about salary caps again.
Yeah.
Of course, he's definitely discussing that. Some people are looking at that more as Deion's kind of looking at this for himself because maybe he doesn't have the talent like a Travis Hunter, or Shadur is not there in the backfield again. But in terms of a college football salary cap, Chris, and we don't have to speak on this too long, just with the other topics we have. Um, is he cooking up an argument that is very much needed? Is it something that the powers that be, even though the NCAA isn't as strong as they used to be, but they are the NCAA. They do have to be in good graces with the legal system now after the ruling, of course, for NIL. Could having salary caps, which is something they've talked about, be beneficial for college football and just college athletics in general? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm not too necessarily big on necessarily having a salary cap. Uh, I like the direction that things are going, where the universities themselves will be paying the athletes, and it won't just be strictly NIL. Um, I don't know about the salary cap though. Myself, it is kind of interesting after your Travis Hunters and Shador Sanders. They go on off to do their thing, that we have a salary cap talk going on, which would definitely benefit Colorado with how they, some of the talent attrition that has taken place. At least with those two guys, elite players going on to the next level. But yeah, I think the salary cap. I mean, it could work. It's not a terrible idea. I think not at all. But I think the core problem was just the outrageous bids coming from due to NIL and how that has impacted things rather than the money itself coming from the universities to try to and we're getting back to that point where we have a commission that's going to be watching over things and regulation has come down from the government to try to get back to the real essence of college football and with recruiting and reasons why players are choosing the university they choose to go play at. We're getting back to that. So I think we're in the right direction. And I think that that's going to showcase the next this recruiting cycle and those going forward. It's already showing now, I think, in recruiting. But I'm not necessarily sure that salary cap will be the answer. But what you think, Kory?
Um, in terms of salary cap, in terms of the salary cap, I'm definitely up with what you're saying. We're at a point in time now where NIL is as big as it's ever been in terms of getting guys in the boat at programs, and programs utilizing it to be great programs. After that, after utilizing NIL, is it can something like a salary cap be what's the word, be overseen by like a governing body throughout collegiate athletics? I mean, I guess it could. That's one of the reasons why people hint at the players potentially having like their own collective bargaining system for the players. But it could be something beneficial, but I think it's also something that's probably just never going to happen at this point, which is why I think like the NCAA kind of talks about like a light salary cap of some sort. So it's been mentioned throughout the plans of NIL. It just hasn't been governed in a way where, hey, this school has this set amount this year that they have to use for collegiate athletics. We know football is probably going to be the biggest one, followed by college basketball and so forth and so on. I mean, it definitely is something that you probably could use, but in terms of how NIL is already being perceived and being used already, it's probably a little bit too little, too late in terms of getting everyone on board, because you already have the collectives, just regular fans paying money for these collectives on top of just what the schools pay the athletes. And that I didn't even get into the third party people. The deals that go on with that. And those deals hit you in multiple different facets. So it's different when you're dealing with college athletics. And I think it's something that maybe can happen years down the line, but it also does need to be something that pretty much everyone is on board with, because if everyone isn't fully on board and they're always asking questions about things, it's definitely never going to be in a situation where we made a plan and we've presented it to everyone and we're going to do this. That way an even playing field is going to be met. I think this is more of a opportunity for teams that don't have the cachet or the money that other programs do to try to utilize ways to, create more NIL for their players. But I don't think it'll, as of right now, it's not at a place where you can just snap your fingers and everybody's on an even playing field, because it hasn't been like that in a while. So who knows? We'll see what goes on down the line. I think as of right now, we can honestly say, like I said, this does give schools more of the creative opportunity to raise funds to build NIL. That way that they can have great players and great teams at their respective schools. So we'll definitely see. I know Dion's asked about it, but it's definitely something that we'll have to keep seeing down the line as we're entering into this new era of NIL.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be important to see just how the commission is able to monitor everything, to where if they can't handle it, then maybe that is the answer. Maybe that will be the next step. But I think we should see how the commission will be able to monitor the new stipulations and regulations that are coming in, and that will be implemented going forward. And so with that being the case, we are moving in the right direction. I think we just kind of need to see how everything pans out and how it'll be enforced. And if they do so successfully, then maybe that we don't need the cap. But it is something that could be an option and an answer going forward, depending on how successful things are in the next 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely. So yeah, man, we'll definitely see what happens in terms of just NIL and all of that good stuff in terms of paying the players moving forward. But we got out of the summer, finally knowing what the big step that needed to be done. This was the first hurdle. Now we're going to see what the next couple of hurdles will be as this all gets kind of reformed and reshaped in a way of enjoying our college athletics in terms of this college football. So yeah, man, we'll definitely see what happens moving forward.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So anything else you want to add on to this, Chris, before we move on to some recruiting transfer portal news?
Nah, let's go ahead and make it happen.
All right. So yeah, everyone. So it's been a interesting recruiting season. We've seen some teams, show up and show out, and gain some notoriety in this year's recruiting season. It doesn't stop in terms of college football. There's always teams jockeying for great players out there. And 2026, this class definitely has some great talent, Chris. And I know we talked about it extensively off air about Alabama, LSU, especially LSU. And they gained one of the top defensive linemen, the number one defensive lineman in the country, in Lamar Brown. From Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 6'4", 285 pound, 5-star defensive lineman. Just a great player, Chris. Overall, I think right now, if you're looking at what Brian Kelly is doing over there in Baton Rouge, I mean, look, a lot of people last year was looking at him and saying, like, he may not be it. He maybe has lost his way. Right now on the recruiting trail right now, he's doing it. He's doing what he needs to do by bringing guys into the boat. He still has to have them, sign on the dotted line near the end of the year. He still has to do that. But so far, what we've seen from LSU, they're recruiting pretty well right now. And they have the number 7 recruiting class in the country right now. So that's not bad so far.
No. They also just the other day picked up another 2026 defensive end, the Anthony Lafayette,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a kid in my city from Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So and he picked LSU over Oklahoma, Miami. So yeah, LSU's cooking when it comes to what they're doing on the recruiting trail, and also
You definitely don't want
I
to
think
miss
this is
the
something
great deals
we'll
this
see
season.
more players
Summertime
trend
savings right
to
now.
LSU,
Roger
I
PC
think,
Massa.
because it's been reported that they are set to hire Ole Miss's coordinator of recruiting,
That's
Kelvin
crazy.
Bolden.
Wow.
Kelvin Bolden's going to LSU. That was reported about 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So LSU, man, they're on it. They hit the portal hard. They're hitting the recruiting, high school recruiting trail hard, and they're trying to continue to improve with the high school recruiting by bringing in someone who's been integral with Ole Miss and how they've been able to do things. And I think it'll also help with the portal as well, because Ole Miss has been over the last 3-4 seasons. I think it's hard to find a program that's recruited the portal better than Ole Miss.
Yeah. No, I think Ole Miss has look. They've definitely found the secret sauce over there in Oxford, Chris, in terms of what Lane gets out of these transfer portal guys each year. Like, there's a reason why some people call him the transfer portal king, just because he's and people doubted it. Like, can you build a full team with transfer portal guys? And comes out, you can if you find the right guys. so
Yeah.
so yeah, it's definitely interesting. It definitely has me interested. Mississippi State, had a terrible season last year. Most of these guys that are on this team are transfer portal guys. Can Jeff Levy do it as well? So he sees what Lane up north is doing right now. Can he do it as well? And there's a lot of other teams out there that are following into his footsteps. So it's going to be interesting to see, what teams like Lane Kiffin can do. But in terms of what LSU has done so far, they've done a remarkable job by doing very well in recruiting. Alabama, also another team, top 5. They are number 5 right now in the 247 Sports recruiting rankings right now. They have a really good class. Also, Xavier Griffin, a couple weeks ago, the number 1 edge rusher in the country, committed to Kalen DeBoer. So if you're Kalen DeBoer right now, you saw last year, you need defensive players, and if you're going to be there for the future, you need to build onto that. And I think they have a really good class that's coming in right now. They want to continue that success for years to come, and I think with the guys that they have right now, they have some really good defensive players. Nolan Wilson, defensive lineman out of Picayune, Mississippi. So he's right in our neck of the woods.
Right. Picking the best of the crop out the state of the Mississippi, man. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's a tough loss for Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And look, this is at a time now where we've seen these blue blood schools tapping into places like Mississippi, like never before. They definitely see the talent. LSU,
they got that wide receiver from Hattiesburg, top receiver in the nation. Like he's going to be going to LSU.
Yeah, Tristan Keys. Yeah, and so man, it's definitely an interesting time in terms of where we're at in terms of recruiting overall. But some of these teams are still showing out on the recruiting trail. They're not going to stop. A&M has they're number 3 right now in the rankings. Georgia 2, USC right now maybe Lincoln Riley is he's cooking up something over there. He has to show up on the football field, but right now, #1 recruiting class. So yeah, man, it's definitely an interesting time on the recruiting trail for sure. We'll definitely tap into it some more, Chris, as the season moves on. We start, seeing guys, show up in their season, in their senior years, wrapping up their high school careers, and we'll definitely hear news in terms of official visits and all of that as well. So interesting time.
Oh yeah. It's only going to get crazier as we get closer to December.
Yep.
To that early signing period.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, man. So yeah, that which is my favorite time of the year. It's it's right around Christmas time. A lot of these colleges, they're looking at this as Christmas time to them. So so you gotta love the early signing period in December for sure. But yeah, Chris, recruiting rankings for sure. Anything else you want to add to recruiting before we talk about some transfer news right quick?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So transfer portal news. We did just hear a couple days ago, Chris, that Jake Retzlaff, quarterback from BYU, is leaving Brigham Young University. And technically, going through a loophole by kind of still putting himself into the transfer portal this way. He's just leaving the school all together. And, a little bit of it, some people were kind of, saying the whole issue that he had with a lawsuit, of course, and, potential suspension. That kind of could have been in place as well. But, he's kind of pretty much looking at moving on from BYU and looking to move into a new home going forward. What are your thoughts about this news, Chris? Just because, Jake Retzlaff, he had a great year last year at BYU. This is a team that we could have said this could have been a team that would have represented the Big 12. Had they won a couple of games and took care of business. But what are your thoughts about him moving on from BYU and potentially moving to another team?
This is a big loss for BYU, honestly, Kory. BYU is a sleeper team to contend and win the Big 12. Very sound team, won a lot of close games last year. And I think everything is in place for them to still be a threat this season. But when you lose your guy, and he is one of the better quarterbacks in the nation, I would say he's the top 30 guy. That's hard to replace this deep, and in terms of where we are with the season, literally around the corner. So I think this will have a huge impact on the Big 12 championship race and BYU's chances of winning the Big 12. Now, the impact that he'll have at another university, I'm curious to see, because he will have to pick up on the playbook, try to develop chemistry. Will it be a starting role? Will he go to a high profile team? It's all to be determined, because at this point, man, lineups haven't been announced, but best believe coaches have an idea of what they have and who will be leading them come late August. So this is real interesting. I'm very curious to see where he winds up, because I just struggle to think if he goes to a higher tier program that he will be going so as the guy. I'm curious to see where he winds up. But I really do think this is a tough loss for BYU for sure.
It is. Of course, I think him his his talent at BYU was one of the reasons why they made it as far as
He was
they
their best
did.
player.
He was their best player, and like for him to be gone now, and for him to go to another team potentially, it is that is some big news coming out of Brigham Young. So hey, I mean, best of luck to him. But if you're BYU right now, I don't know how you replace a guy like him. That's those are some big shoes to fill.
Oh, they are sick. I think the coaches are sick. Everybody is sick.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want this to come to this, but for reasons specific to the university, it has come to this. Mm-hmm. This is the case.
Yeah,
exceptions cannot be made.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that's tough.
It is.
It's a huge loss for BYU, man. For real.
Yeah, it's definitely a big loss. We'll definitely see where he potentially lands. There's rumors going on at Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, or some schools that are starting to make.
I don't see it with Notre Dame, honestly. Unless CJ Carr is really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think CJ Carr is struggling. We talked even last year, Kory. I remember I said Notre Dame's QB room was loaded last year.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of talent. And I think CJ, I think personally, has what it takes to be the best QB Notre Dame has had since Brady Quinn. Wow. I think CJ Carr is a dog.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched him, how he played in high school, you've seen the film, he could be one of them ones. Mm-hmm. And so if he goes to Notre Dame, that'll be very, very interesting because I don't know. I know he's really nice, but CJ's been there. He's putting in the time, putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll. If he does end up wind up going to Notre Dame, I think that says that CJ has probably been struggling a little bit. Mm-hmm. We'll read between the lines. We'll see. But Oklahoma State does make more sense to me, and you get possibly able to get your lick back against BYU.
just because. Oh man, yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see where he lands. The situation, as we're recording this on a Saturday afternoon, situation is very fluid right now. So, who knows who can become the number one in this whole situation right now for Jake Retzlaff. The sweepstakes for Jake Retzlaff's services.
It's underway.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that situation. Last transfer topic, Chris. You remember Bo Prabula used to be at Penn State, backed up Drew Aller. Bo is now at Missouri, and he's talking about his time being at Penn State and how he didn't want to leave, Chris. He was on a podcast recently called Next Up with Adam Brenneman. He was on this podcast talking about, his time being at Penn State and just how he didn't want to leave. And one of the main factors of that was his family was very much pushing him into, getting into the transfer portal, showing his worth. And there were teams that were wanting him, but ultimately he made a decision to head to Missouri to play for Eli Drinkwitz's squad. So now he's at Missouri. overall, we kind of heard it from him to see, his thoughts on, going to the transfer portal, even though he really had that connection with James Franklin. And now we get to see what he does in the SEC. But what are your thoughts, Chris, on Bo Prabula just in general? And, can he make a big step in the SEC? And can he also make a difference for Missouri?
He can. He definitely can. He has the talent. I think he, along with an Arch Manning last year, was one of the best backup QBs in the nation. There's a reason that he's able to leave as a backup to go to a Power 4 school and start in the SEC. That speaks to the talent he has, the talent he is. So I think that he definitely can have an impact at Missouri. And if Missouri has a great season, wins 8 games, 9 games, it's definitely because of him.
Mm-hmm.
He is spearheading the charge. So I think it can work out, and I hope it does for his sake, because it really sounds like the families need to. I'm gonna need y'all to just mind your business. I'm just being real.
Look, we've seen a lot of family business that comes into play with these decisions being made, Chris. I mean, let us not forget Nico Iamaleava that whole situation, with him. So it's definitely interesting to see how NIL has taken shape in college football, and how families have now gotten involved in the process. And look, we know a lot of these guys, they probably feel like, if they had to trust someone, they had to trust their folks at the end of the day. Family is important for them. But, this is a time where, and we always said it, the decisions that these young men make are their decisions on where they want to go at, where they want to play their college careers at. Mm-hmm. And we do kind of see that maybe it's starting to become lost in the sauce now, when you see families dictating a lot of where these guys want to enjoy their time, their college careers at, because they're not only being collegiate athletes, but they're also going to get their degrees, of course. And these are the times where they'll never forget.
Yeah. No, the families need to honestly relax. It's not necessarily the worst thing, especially at the quarterback position, to sit behind somebody for a couple of seasons. Look at Arch Manning. Look how he is being handled by his family, who knows all too well how to handle a quarterback's development. We're talking about generations of QBs to go to the NFL and produce Hall of Fame careers, and just they know what it takes to be a quarterback and how to get to the next level. And he sat back behind Quinn these last couple seasons. There has not been a whisper of him transferring, leaving Texas, and now he's going to be the guy this year. Mm-hmm. I don't think it would have been terrible for Bo to have another season behind a Drew Allar, who, amongst NFL scouts, you talk to, you hear from executives in the league, Drew Allar is a first-round pick. Drew Allar is a guy who more than likely will go top 10 in the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. He's looked upon as one of those guys. He is an elite quarterback talent. And learning from playing next to a Drew, playing behind Drew, you have the connection with the head coach. I think Bo would have been set himself up to possibly be the next Penn State quarterback to go in the first round, because he's an exceptional talent as well. So I hope it works out for him at Missouri. But sometimes, man, just being a guy, you don't necessarily need to start so soon, so quickly. let things play out, and it could really work out just fine. Him another year playing behind Drew, and then you keep your ceiling high for Penn State, and all of a sudden you low key become a quarterback school at Penn State. If you have Drew going to first, I could see a world where Bo ends up being a first round talent, and he goes. I mean, so. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But it wouldn't have been the worst thing, I think, Kory, for him to stay another year at Penn State.
Yeah. I mean, what would it hurt? I'm like you said, Drew Allar is going to be out of there after this season, and everyone before you made your decision, they were probably looking at you being the guy. Has a lot of talent. Penn State, I think, has an opportunity year in and year out to be in discussion in the 12-team playoff. As long as they take care of business.
People are picking them to win this year.
Yeah,
there are people that really think they will win the Big Ten and possibly win the Natty. And it's not impossible either. This
right,
team is a really good team.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and yeah, I think he would have definitely benefited by being in an environment that he was used to, gaining that rapport.
Where he wants to be.
Yeah, where he wanted to be at, and now he has to literally make a new rapport with new receivers, running backs, the whole nine. Now, this is a brand new team, brand new everything. Never been to Columbia before. He has to get used to that. And it's weather, because it gets crazy. but yeah, it's definitely something that he would have definitely benefited from, because he wanted to benefit from that. And now he's at Missouri, and all I can say is hey, I wish him best of luck. I think he's a heck of a talent. And we'll definitely see what happens this season with him being at Missouri.
Oh yeah, we will be tapped in. We'll be tuned in, and we hope the best. Wish the best for him, especially when it's a situation. It seems like you really want to be at Penn State. But I mean, hey, he made his decision. Now I'm sure he's going to do his best to make it his best decision.
Right.
And so we hope things work out for him. So definitely.
Absolutely. So yeah, man, we'll definitely see what happens with Bo Pribula at his time playing for the Missouri Tigers. And Eli Drinkwitz should be an interesting season for Missouri. So we'll definitely be watching the Tigers this season. Anything else, Chris, that you want to mention about, transfer portal news, anything like that before we move on to our final topic?
No, sir. I think we've covered it all.
All right. Yes, sir. I think so as well. So yeah, Chris. So now we're gonna move into our final topic on today's show. It's been a great show so far. Us talking about a lot of these different important topics out here in college football. But we're gonna continue on within the Power Four. We were talking about sleeper teams. We both talked about some of our top teams, and some of them, you could look at as sleeper teams as well. But in terms of this topic, sleeper teams within the Big Ten and the ACC conferences, Chris, two leagues that are just filled with teams that we can really make a whole podcast just talking about this topic. But in terms of time constraints, we'll delve into the nitty gritty and kind of talk about some of these teams, Chris. So which conference do you want to start off with first? Just because both of these conferences, they're interesting.
They are interesting. They are. Let's go ahead and let's hit the Big Ten real quick.
Okay. So the Big Ten, like we said, they have a lot of teams, a lot of those Pac-12, refugee teams, refugee schools, getting in the fold of the Big Ten now. Yeah, it's a lot of teams out there, Chris. I'm going to go ahead and say sleeper team that could potentially take it all or get close.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go ahead and say Illinois. I know we talked about it, but I'm liking what I see from Illinois. I think this team has that it factor. Luke Altmaier's coming back again, Starkville, Mississippi native. I think he's gonna try to make a name for himself this season. I think they have everything in front of them to be a really great football team. I think this defense is going to be really good, Chris. I know you've talked about it as well. I think they have that it factor, and their schedule isn't that bad. October 11th at home against Ohio State. That'll be a little bit of a challenge for sure. But everything else is definitely manageable. It's definitely manageable. Yeah. I mean, like, look, the September 27th game against USC, that's going to be interesting. But I think they can take care of business in that game. Ohio State's the only team I see, Chris. What are your thoughts on Illinois? I know what a little bit you're gonna say, but for the audience member out there,
they are the real deal. I think they might be a sleeper to the world, to the nation. But if you know college football, you know that Illinois is going to be a problem this season.
Mm-hmm.
This team is legit. You have all the makings, like you said. You're returning your starting quarterback. He's a senior. He's one of the 15 best QBs in the nation. Experienced. You bring back experience on both sides of the ball. A lot of returning production, a stout defense, a head coach Brett Bielema and what he brings to the table. He's legit. He's established. Illinois is ready. So I love Illinois, and in a season with so much turnover at QB, specifically with the big dogs, Ohio State, Julian Sand, unproven. Michigan, we don't know who's going to be the starter there, but whoever it will be an unproven guy. Oregon, Dante Moore, unproven. Penn State does bring back Drew Allar, but you and Penn State are the teams that bring back top level QBs. So it's right there for the taking for Illinois this season, especially if those new quarterbacks struggle. So I like the pick. For myself, there are two teams specifically that I say as sleepers that I know you'll agree with one of them for sure, because I know the other one's probably another team you're looking at too. I'll just go ahead and say the team that I know we both will agree on. Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska is a sleeper. You bring back Dylan Raiola, Diet Mahomes. Can he level up and take the diet off his name? Can he show us that he may be Mahomes? He does have his flashes, his shades, but he's for real a very good talent, a great talent. Nebraska's defense is going to be stout. We know that. If this team can level up offensively, the receivers can break out. The running game stays solid and consistent. That's what they leaned on last year. They were right there in the mix to beat Ohio State at Ohio State last season. Can they win some of those games that were close losses? I think that's a natural progression when you have a team that started a true freshman quarterback last season. he will be better. I think Nebraska has everything to mess around and insert themselves into that tier of being a winner in the conference, especially like I just said, this year was so much unknown with some of the top teams' quarterbacks. If there's a time as a middling team in the Big Ten to step up, it is this season with some of those top dogs having new faces at QB.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Chris. I think the teams you mentioned are very much in play of breaking out in the Big Ten conference. I mean, look, this conference, even with Ohio State, you still have Michigan, and what they brought to the table with Underwood being their quarterback. We'll see what happens with them. This is a very interesting year in the Big Ten. A year I'd say is going to be probably one of the most competitive years that we've probably seen in quite some time in the conference. And that's what makes me very excited, just because of all of the talent that they have at the quarterback position. I'm going to throw this one out here. Iowa. Cade McNamara, I think, is still on the team, and a lot of people are talking about Cade and Iowa in general as being another sleeper team in this conference. And it's just Iowa in general. They give people fits every single year, just about. It started slow last year, and then next thing you know, boom, they blow the top off of people. So yeah, I teams like that as well, just creates a competitive conference. Yeah, a USC.
I think USC has to be mentioned. Lincoln Riley, he needs to win this year. He needs to. And
absolutely,
they have some players. The defense took a major leap last season. I think they'll take another leap this season. You got Lane at wide receiver on the outside. He's a huge, big 6'4" target that can be a dynamic playmaker, and I think potentially is a Sunday guy. So USC has some pieces. So I would not be shocked if USC messes around and if they figure some things out. USC, if they mess around and beat Illinois, you mentioned that game September 27th. That's going to be the game that lets people know if they beat Illinois. Because USC had a lot of close losses last year too, man. I think they had like 3 games in Big Ten play that I'm pretty sure it was 3 games that they were ahead that they ultimately lost in conference play. If they win those games, it's a whole different season. So, but USC is somebody that we love to make fun of Lincoln Riley, but I think they have some pieces to potentially break out this season and crash this party and mess around and insert themselves with the old USC. There's the potentials there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Chris. And yeah, I was listening to Joe Klatt. And he was pretty much saying what you were saying. Like, look, this is the big year for USC. They have to win. Josh Pate was saying it as well. Everyone agrees that USC has to come out of its shell and show up this season. And look, Lincoln Riley has to do it. This is a big year for him. I think this season, even though Ohio State won the national championship last year, is wide open in terms of who could win this conference. And you don't really see that much in the Big Ten. So he has to show up and show out this season in order to, showcase a lot of people that, hey, he still got it, and this team is cooking right now. If he can do that, then hey, I think potentially you'll see Lincoln Riley around there at USC for a couple more years to come.
Oh yeah. Oh, if he wins this year, oh you going to have to burn the couch.
Yeah.
That shit ain't hot no more.
I know. In the words of Rich Rod, you gotta burn the couch. You gotta burn the couch. Oh man, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting, Chris. I can't wait to watch a lot of these teams in the Big Ten perform. I think this, like I said, this is gonna be a wide open Big Ten, one of the most competitive Big Ten conferences that we've seen in quite some time. And one other thing I want to kind of correct myself. So I did mention Cade McNamara. Cade McNamara is not actually at Iowa. He's actually at East Tennessee State. Totally forgot about that. And now Iowa is looking towards Mark Gronowski. You probably remember a little bit about Mark Gronowski, Chris. Previously was at South Dakota State. And we know how good South Dakota State has had pretty good teams. Along with North Dakota State.
Those Dakotas, they produce them.
They produce them. I don't know how, but they do them. They do it like no other, Chris, and with ease too. They make it look so easy. But he's now at Iowa, so a lot of people are very excited, myself included, that he's there in a program like Iowa, in a premier program. Like Iowa in this conference. And yeah, I think overall when you put him and all of these other quarterbacks in that conference into the equation, man, the Big Ten has some dogs at the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun year. It is, for sure. You think? I think we hit the nail on the head with the sleepers in the Big Ten. You ready to take it on to the ACC?
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and do it. Another interesting conference that has it's just literally wide open, just like the Big Ten, but it has a lot of talent.
Yeah. There's a few teams that really pop out on the radar for me. I mean, we've highlighted all off season. I don't even think, for me, well, for us, I know especially for me, I don't even know if I want to call them a sleeper. I think they are a legitimate contender. So I would just say Georgia Tech real quick. I'm not going to say much on them because that's how I look at Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech is a contender and should be mentioned with the likes of a Miami, a Clemson. I think they're right there. So they might be a sleeper to the world, but they ain't a sleeper to us, especially if you've been listening to this podcast.
Exactly.
But I will say, as an ACC sleeper, Kory, I think Louisville, your boys, I think they are a sleeper in this league. Louisville, they have recruited pretty well. They have the staff there with Coach Brom and what he's doing. So I wouldn't be shocked if Louisville gives teams some problems this upcoming season. Especially like we mentioned, it's the thing with the ACC is if you're going to surprise people, it all starts with the coaching staff. And Brom has shown immediately the impact that he has had there as the head coach. So I like what he's doing, and I think if Louisville pops out, it's because of him and his staff. And I think they have some pieces there to be able to be a team that is a surprise team. So I think Louisville's a legit sleeper.
Nice. Yeah, I think Louisville has an opportunity to show up and show out as well. You just can't really count out Louisville Cardinals at all. I mean, look, Miami Miami found that out last year when they were just going into this just crazy battle with Louisville. So yeah, you really can't count them out. They always have a knack for being, in the dark horse column of the league every year. So yeah, I think you're spot on that one, Chris. For me, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead, Chris. You may like this pick. Virginia Tech. Kyron Drones.
I like that.
The cousin of Cam Ward. Yes, that Cam Ward, folks. I think the kid had something, man. It was something about watching that game between Virginia Tech and Miami last year showed me like there's some talent at Virginia Tech. Like these guys can ball, and I do think this season is going to be another year for them to potentially break out and showcase that hey, they also can be in the hunt in this league. So I'm going to be very bullish in saying that Virginia Tech is one of my dark horses that, if everything falls into place, we could be looking at them and being a really good team by the end of the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that that pick. Virginia Tech. And we need Virginia Tech to be good again.
We do. We do. I'm look, somewhere Michael Vick is just praying. He's like, look, man, just bring us back to prominence,
No, that's a really good selection though. Because you mentioned, man, they bring back the QB. You have the staff in place, and in a league where Cam Ward's gone, we'll see if SMU can repeat as a top dog in the conference. They do bring back Jennings at QB. Klubnik is still at Clemson.
Yep.
But there's a lot of pressure in Clemson. And so you never know. You just need things to break your way. When we've seen it happens every year where there's a team that's everybody's predicting to be that team, and then they struggle out the gate. Things could get hot in Clemson real quick if you lose at home to LSU. A couple weeks later, they play Georgia Tech at Tech. You lose to Georgia Tech. Now all of a sudden you 1-2 to start the season when you're supposed to be a national title contender. The season could go downhill real quick. So all it takes is some things breaking out one way, and then you win a couple games, and maybe you sneak one out you ain't supposed to, or you get some statement victories. I mean, hey, anything could happen. So Tech could make it happen. Louisville can make it happen.
Duke,
Georgia Tech could make it happen. Duke is another great one.
Yes,
especially with them having Malik Murphy at QB. And what he brings to the table. As a guy he's a dynamic player as well. We saw him when he had this opportunity at Texas to get some PT and play. Murphy showed that he can ball.
Now at Oregon State, by the way. I see he's now. Sorry to cut y'all, but he's now at Oregon State, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Look, folks. These guys change like the wind. Now it is what it is. But
dang, yeah, he sure is. Because they had him on the preview of the stadium post.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he does at Oregon State. But I will say, in terms of Duke, Chris, Darian Menza, who was previously at Tulane.
Menza's at Duke now.
Yeah, he's now at Duke now, and I would say it's a quarterback battle probably between Menza and Henry Bellin the fourth right now.
Okay.
So
Tulane just keep losing people. Menza left.
Yeah.
Hughes.
Yeah.
Went to Oregon. Oh
So yeah,
man,
tough times for the Greenway.
as soon as you get some good boys there, boy, they just bolt on out on you.
Oh yeah, it is what it
I was gonna
is.
say too, Miller Moss is at Louisville as
Mm-hmm.
well
Okay,
from USC. So
that's right.
we see when he can make some things happen. Ask LSU. So
Yeah.
there's some good QBs, some good players in the ACC this season.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So yeah, man, it just like the Big Ten, just like we had covered a second ago, Chris. The ACC is wide open when it comes to sleeper teams. Some of the guys that a lot of the pundits aren't really discussing as much. Some of these teams have some talent that if cookie crumbles, depending on how the wind blows, some of these teams could squeak into a conference championship, potentially a playoff berth. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. Especially, I mean, this season of all seasons, honestly, Kory, it feels like it's more wide open than we've seen since 2007.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is wide open. Anybody can win in any league, any conference.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. So yeah, man, this is gonna be very interesting of a season for sure in the Power Four conferences. Everyone's just gonna be beating up on each other, and I can't wait. I can't wait for sure. It should be a fun
one. I'm ready. So the start will be here before we know it. Excuse me. I think we were just is it 5 weeks away from week 0?
Yeah. I think we're close at it. I mean, well, look, we're heading already mid-July now, so yeah, we're already getting closer and closer to that.
I want to say we're 5 weeks away from week 0, 6 from week 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost that time, so we made it, brother. We here.
We made it. We did it. We did it, man. Yeah, man. This is the point of the season that we all we get excited for. Like we said earlier in the beginning of the show, Chris. We got the college football game, and everyone's having fun with that. And usually, we use that time to just look at what we have on our favorite teams right now, and just look at the talent overall in the sport. So yeah, man, we got that. Media Days is here now. I think Big Ten Media Days is coming up on the 22nd through the 24th of this month. So is ACC Media Days, and pretty much once you guys hear this episode, the SEC Media Days coverage will be going on. So yeah, we're here. It's what we've been waiting for, Chris.
Man, that's it's gonna take advantage of this time. Check out these media days and hop on the game. Try to do some more quote unquote scouting with some of these teams. Try out these different teams, these different playbooks. See if we can see if we can find some wrinkles that we can anticipate some of these teams dialing up. Because Penn State got them a nasty little playbook too. I don't know if you played with Penn State's playbook yet, but they got some stuff in there.
I have not, but that may be a task I have to partake in off air.
Hey, you'll see. You're gonna be like, hold on now. They got some formations. So yeah. Check out that Penn State playbook, brother. Okay. I'm sure it's gonna be a few plays you add to your custom playbook, your very own personal playbook out of it.
Nice. I'll definitely I'll keep that in mind. Oh man, but yeah, Chris, another great show, sir. As always, appreciate hanging out with you, talking some college football
Yes, sir.
each and every show that we do. So yeah, man. Before we head out of here, Chris, got some outros. Go ahead, let the good people know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, you can holler at your boy on X at Chris_Bolton_12. Tap in with me. We talking baseball, basketball, football, wrestling, boxing, UFC, everything. So just holler at your boy.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and definitely follow Chris on MLB Bro. I know we're heading towards the MLB All Star season.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, you and your crew do great work over there. So yeah, folks, if you're definitely into baseball, definitely check out Chris's insights on the game of baseball. And yeah, folks, you can find me on X at Listen to KSW, all one handle. I'm on there talking college football, professional wrestling, and video game and news, all of that good stuff. So yeah, definitely follow me on there. But yeah, guys, we appreciate you all listening to the show. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It's definitely important for Chris and I. It helps us know what we're doing and how we can improve this show for the future for you all. So we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. But yeah, we'll be definitely back soon throughout the weeks ahead. You know, as we hear more news going on media days and our media day coverage of some of these programs out here. So definitely tap in with us. We'll definitely give you our thoughts or any updates going on as we're getting closer and closer to the start of a brand new season in college football. But yeah, guys, until next time, I'm Kory Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later on. Peace.